about the rest of the box office is on Box Office Mojo, which ironically, someone Odin says you use Box Office Mojo, but the numbers does not have updated international totals for a couple of movies actually. Okay, a couple of movies don't have updated international totals. For example, Forget Alita, 405 million worldwide, which is from Box Office Mojo. The numbers has Alita at 404 million, which of course that's the wrong international numbers there. But we'll be going over here. Cruella doesn't have the international numbers updated from Disney, but Quiet Place Part 2 grossed 39 million worldwide. The budget is probably similar to the first movie. We have a Quiet Place Part 2. Go look up the budget for the movie. 17 million. So yep, $70 million budget. So that means this movie's already profitable, no matter if it does poorly internationally or not. But this movie has made 79 million worldwide, basically. There. So next is Cruella, which they don't have international sales for Cruella. They have them on, the numbers. So this is around 13 million there, but they don't have it on Box Office Mojo for some reason. We have Wrath of Man, which made 80 million worldwide, but they only have it at 66 million. They're missing $14 whole million from this movie's gross. Yeah, this movie is probably gonna be a flop. Which will probably be the first Guy Ritchie movie to flop in a while. Again, considering the success of A Quiet Place Part 2, this movie was, just came out and everybody instantly, forgot it existed. It made $22 million domestically. It's still going out in places worldwide. Here, so Wrath of Man, I want to do this when movies are flopping here at the box office. So Wrath of Man, release info. It still has not released in South Korea, which is a big market. Brazil, another big market. Of course, Germany, UK, and the UK are two massive markets. So the Wrath of Man couldn't make back its money in South Korea. It could make back its money in the UK and Germany in July. France, it hasn't opened there yet. Brazil, So it has a couple of big markets to go out in. So we're not going. So we're gonna wait. It's gonna take a couple of months to wait to crown this movie a flop or not. But yeah, we'll keep you guys updated on Wrath of Man's box office here and its international box office. Can it make back its budget, which is around $50 to $60 million? So it means make $100 to $230 million to break even. Why? Which of course this movie doesn't have its international box office updated. Either way, Wire is a flop, so we don't really have to discuss this movie anymore. Okay, Godzilla vs. Kong was also present. Yeah, Godzilla vs. Kong. The international state is basically the same for that movie. Godzilla vs. Kong might actually pass $100 million worldwide, as well. So yep, Demon Slayer, Mugen Train, which this movie grossed a lot of money in Japan. Highest grossing movie in Japanese history. That is actually a true fact about the movie. It is the highest grossing movie in Japanese history. DreamWorks, that's a flop. Say if those who history that doesn't really matter. The movie has a $4 million budget, and no one wanted to see another movie with Angelina Jolie in it. Okay, Next is Mortal Kombat. This is the one movie that we're going to talk about. But it doesn't matter. This movie's still a flop. Mortal Kombat, $60 million budget, made $80 million worldwide. And yeah, HBO Max is not going to save this movie from being a box office failure. Okay, this movie was actually projected to flop either way, and yeah, it's still a big movie. And people are saying, oh, that's because of HBO Max, but Quiet Place Part 2 is simultaneously on Paramount Plus, so it's not really the streaming services that are killing these movies. Okay, maybe that might be true for Cruella, but A Quiet Place Part 2, most people like that movie. Like Cruella, that movie, according to Rotten Tomatoes, Cruella is a better movie. Which again, Rotten Tomatoes is not really a trustworthy source anymore. Considering they changed their, review scores to be overly biased towards Disney. Which Disney fanboys will of course tell you that, oh, you hate because it's popular. Blah 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 blah. The typical Disney fanboy excuse. Spiral, 27 million worldwide. This movie needs to make like $40 million. So yeah, Spiral is basically gonna be a flop. You know, it'll probably make like 40 million worldwide and 33 million. But yeah, also Spiral, I don't consider it's so Spiral. Yeah, we're also gonna go over Cruella as well. So Cruella. Does Spiral have any other more markets? Not really. They have Italy and France and Germany. That's not really. That's only like three major. That's only Europe. So it's only really Europe, and it hasn't really performed in any of the international markets that has released it. Okay, it hasn't really performed well in any of the international markets. And I go Cruella. And yeah, most of this release info stuff is from IMDb. Tells you where movies come out. So yeah, basically it's releasing everywhere at once. Next week it's coming out in Russia and Brazil, and it doesn't have a China release until June 6th. We have to really see how it does in China first, because it does have a China release on June 6th. So this movie is not good. This movie might do extremely well in China. So we're not gonna really put the jury out on Cruella. Does see if it's a flop or not. Even as it's still coming out in France and Italy much later. I don't really think, Germany and Italy are gonna save Man and Cruella. You know, Disney Plus might save Cruella, especially Spiral. Okay, that movie does nothing but a box office failure. No one really cares about this movie. You know, and yeah, the Saw franchise. It did pass one. It did help it pass $1 billion. That's the only claim the famous Spiral will ever have. But Man is having better legs than Spiral, which is just hilarious. That movie came out a week before Spiral, and that movie is having far better legs than Spiral is. And we have Nobody, where it's made like $50 million worldwide. That was $46 million worldwide. So $46 million worldwide. Yeah, it's basically it's like John Wick. So John Wick fans are going to go see it, and it basically made back its budget here. We also had, we go over Cool to Do 8. That movie did really well worldwide, $169 million, based off like a $60-70 million budget. So, yeah, so there we go about the box office. So yeah, the box office is back. I don't know how the next release of movies, so it's Spirit and Conjuring. Okay, there was no real competition for Spirit. I think it will kill Wire in the theaters, because Wire has been like the only family choice for so long. I think people are going to watch it just because it's a breath of fresh air. So yeah, I think Spirit's gonna go like 10 to 20 million opening, and Conjure's gonna go like 20 to 30 million worldwide, domestically. Because it's not gonna go as well as Quiet Place. It's not. Okay, the last two Conjuring movies opened like 30 to 40 million, and I don't know if the pandemic will really be a factor for Conjuring, because it wasn't really a factor for Quiet Place Part 2, so we can say the Conjuring could make 40 million like the Conjuring 2, okay, and the Nun. So yeah, we could go back to the numbers, because they actually have a comparison for the Conjuring franchise. At the numbers. And yeah, we could go to we're good, because they have numbers for because they have comparisons for like whole franchises. Basically, and The Conjuring is one of them. The Conjuring series, and we can go look at the average opening of the Conjuring movies. This is the new one, Conjuring the Devil. Basically, the devil made me do it. Yeah. But yeah, we can compare it to. We could do all the Conjuring movies. Compare them. We have the comparison, so we could go for franchise The Conjuring. So yeah, we have The Nun. We have the Annabelle movies. But this is just compared to The Conjuring 1 and 2 and The Nun. Okay, those are the only real ones we can compare it to. And The Conjuring and The Nun average around 40 to 50 million. So we're going to assume the newest ones get gross 40 million then. But it is competing directly with A Quiet Place Part 2. That movie might steal some of its money. That's why I put out the $40 million. Because The Quiet Place, if The Conjuring Devil Made Me Do It gets like very bad and non-favorable reviews, it will probably just bomb, and A Quiet Place will probably just destroy it at the box office. That's probably going to happen. Yeah, Conjuring Devil made me do it, or it made 3.9 million internationally. These types of horror movies just don't do well internationally. They just don't, unless it's like It, and It Chapter 2, where they're not gonna make it a part 3 because that's like a 2-part movie, basically. But yeah, we have all these movies like Annabelle Comes Home, domestic 27 million opening. The Annabelle movies did like 30 to 40 million dollars here. And yeah, we could compare. We could do the opening weekends here. And yeah, it's not gonna go as low as the Annabelle movies or the Curse of War, where it's, I don't even know why that movie exists. It's gonna probably grow similar to the Conjuring 1 and 2. Probably slightly around Annabelle's numbers between Annabelle and Annabelle Creations opening. Because if the movie is super good, it'll probably go like the first and second movie. Because the first and second movie did the second movie did pretty well. It did comparable to Annabelle Creation. But yep, there we go about Conjuring. We could also do Spirit as well. Okay, goes the same amount as the first one. Again, the first movie came out so long ago. Okay, so long ago, basically. Yeah, Spirit comes down here to Samarian, that's what's called. Yeah, it didn't really do well in international, so that's gonna be a pretty big problem. But this movie did overperform at the box office. It only made $13 million. Of course, it does it for places. It's probably higher here, but yeah, it opened to $13 million. I expect the first, second movie to open the same amount because yeah, it's gonna probably open to the same amount as the first one. Yeah, and yeah, it's gonna probably open to the first one. So yeah, I think a big comparison would be to the first one. But yeah, we're talking about movies that are coming out like next week. Okay, and we also have fun movie that's coming out. That everybody on the S. For example, we have like 2016. Okay, Ice Age and Star Trek came out, but then we had Lights Out, which came out and surprised everyone. It actually passing Ice Age. It was actually projected to go to third place. I can actually show you such a long time ago already. But yeah, Lights Out. You know, here and yeah, we had the opening week here for Lights Out, and yeah, it did slightly better than Ice Age. It was a slightly. I thought Ice Age would open in second. Yeah, but yeah, I have Star Trek Beyond. Yeah, but yeah, this is like old box office, Yeah, yeah, that's basically about this video. Goodbye.